Welcome to Sports in 60 Minutes right here on iRiver Studios. I'm Femi Farawe. I'm excited to have you join us today. It's a full house, so we're going to be going through all the thoughts coming in from the big world of sports. There were loads of things at the weekend. We're looking forward to this weekend, where we'll gradually build up to the start of the National Youth Games. Paralympics Games also starts next week, so our eyes will be right there in and about transfer news before the end of the month. And we're doing this alone. I've got Francisca Nwobodo. She's first in line. Got to say big welcome to her. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right, that's good. Right, no peace, no war. That's
Keep
what
it
I love.
simple and short, you know.
Someone who likes it simple and short as well is Princewill Oviesan. He's right here as well. How are you doing today, Princewill?
Excited to be here, Femi.
No, he likes it quick and short.
Okay, all right.
You said so?
Okay.
I know so.
Okay.
All right, so we're looking forward to some of the Nigerian players making moves in the transfer window. Where will Ademola Lookman be at the start of the international break? We'll look through all that. Victor Osimhen will also serve you updates going forward to this weekend's football fixtures from the Premier League. That's it for a break. When we come back, we'll start off with all the stories we've heard this week and how well they go. All right, so welcome back. This is the show proper. Let's get off with stories coming through. This week, there was quite a lot of buzz coming out from the Premier League. They made announcement for Player of the Year, which was Phil Foden from last season. Brilliant performance for Manchester City, by the way. Cole Palmer got the Young Player of the Year. Was great for Chelsea. I think the only bright mark for Chelsea last season. But Francisca, let's start off with you. The irony came through when fans started reacting based on the team selection for the year. There was no Cole Palmer in that list, which was funny because he was a young player. There was also no Bukayo Saka on the list, knowing his performance as well for Arsenal.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised as well because if Bukayo Saka, with what he did for Arsenal last season, I'm surprised that Arsenal, remember, they came second, just was it 1 point or thereabout below Manchester City. For one, I was thinking that Saka should be on that, team of the year list. But, sometimes...
But why should he be on that team? Because...
He did well. He did great.
Based on what? His team failed.
Oh, come on.
The Chelsea.
Come on. Come
Chelsea
on.
win the trophy.
No, they did not.
But Cole Palmer won the youngest player of the year.
Bukayo was the second top scorer in the league.
I agree, 22 goals.
Yes, as a winger, by the way, who played in the same position Saka played.
Same with Saka.
No, but he played those Saka. He has scored Saka.
I agree.
So my point is that...
But if you look at...
my question for you is, why are you campaigning for Saka when the person who even outscored Saka and outperformed Saka?
It's not on the list.
There's a totality of actually picking up the points you score to become a part of the team. What was Saka's performance for the Three Lions?
No. It's the Premier League.
Yeah, it's the Premier League, but the totality of his performance for the whole year was top-notch. And for Arsenal, he was the face of attack.
Was he? I thought it was Odegaard.
No,
it was Saka.
But Odegaard was the captain, right?
Yes, Odegaard was
and Odegaard made that squad.
Yes,
right?
he made that squad because if you look at
the defenders also made the team. Saliba and Gabriel.
Top-notch. But
and Declan Rice was also on that list.
I think Saka exclusion from that list can only be explained by the committee.
But why are you making a case for Saka? You're not making a case for Cole Palmer.
If you compare the performance of Saka as a major factor to what Arsenal
did,
he was an actor.
All right, so let's just go a little deeper into this talk because Princewill, I do not understand how you explain this to me because I thought there were notable mentions last season in terms of performance. Bruno Guimaraes, for example, of Newcastle United, had a good stint. To some extent, we can also mention Tottenham Hotspur, right? They had quite a number of good performers, Pedro Porro. But I can understand the likes of Kyle Walker beating him to that position. Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Rodri, right? Those ones just stood out. And obviously, you could see their performance. But in a position where you have 2 or 3 people competing, that's why I asked the question, was Saka the most significant person? Because, to be fair, Salah also hit double digits.
Yeah.
And Salah could also have a shout in that position. Liverpool, remember, finished in the top 4. So my question is, I know win, you know win. Why are you saying that you deserve to be there because you came second? Somebody else outscored you.
Most likely, considering the fact that if you look at his assist in the Arsenal team, he was top-notch. And don't forget again that throughout the season, from the first game to the last game, Saka played all through.
Did his goal contribution, goal and assist, eclipse that of Cole Palmer? The answer is no.
No.
So I'm saying if you don't eclipse me in numbers...
Well, I'm surprised. Probably as a fan of Arsenal, I wanted him in that particular team. If about 4 or 5 of the players could make that particular team, I expected Saka to be there too.
Arsenal were not great last season.
You're being sarcastic.
I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being factual. History only remembers the winner.
Yeah, I agree.
History only remembers the winner. In 10, 20 years from now, when Arsenal came second to Chelsea, the season of Mourinho, nobody remembers Arsenal came second. I'm just reminding you.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
That's a blow.
I know how I do it. But let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea's brightest spot last season was Cole Palmer. But this year, Chelsea are trying to right those wrongs. They've gone for João Felix. Can you make sense of this signing and what he brings to the team?
I really don't understand. You know, when, if not just that signing, the couple of signings that Chelsea has actually made this season, and I'm wondering, look at the first game, and you can even tell that the signings went wrong with the performance against Manchester.
I thought Pedro Neto had a good time. I thought Pedro Neto looked bright.
Remember that's his first game.
That's his first game. Pedro Neto looked good.
That's his first game.
His first game, I was expecting you to bring your level.
But we're playing Manchester City.
And so
I'm saying that City is at the heights, and because it's his first game, I thought he was fleet-footed, he was quick, he kept attacking the far post.
I was actually thinking they should, with the number of will I say players? Yes, I agree.
Yeah?
Do you understand? I was expecting them to match up with
Man City.
Manchester City.
First
game. Look at what Leicester City played against Tottenham.
That was a different ball game. That was a different ball game.
You know what they used to call a complete story of apples and oranges?
Yeah, that was a different ball game.
No, you cannot say that.
No, that was a different ball game.
You cannot say a Tottenham against Tottenham against Leicester City.
It's apples and oranges. You're comparing City and Tottenham. Insults. Francisca, look, I put it to you.
No, hold on. I'm talking about the game. I was expecting such a game because a whole lot of people were like, oh, I felt Tottenham was going to defeat Leicester City.
First half,
I thought that was what.
But football is about 2 halves.
But I was thinking because Leicester City would have gone down relegation or would have been in the championship for almost like 2 or 3 seasons.
One season.
Yeah. I felt they coming back, it would be a kind of little difficult for them because
they were in the EPL.
I know.
They understand
so you
the
cannot
terrain.
Compare. You left one season.
Before we lose track from this, we're talking about João Felix, and it just occurred to me that João Felix doesn't play for Leicester or Tottenham.
He plays for Chelsea.
So what does he bring to Chelsea? Because we can go on this argument about Spurs from today to tomorrow, and we will not end it. Because I don't know what you're talking about, but I want to talk about João Felix. He was at Chelsea before, played for Barcelona last season. What does he bring to this team? Because they let Conor Gallagher go the other way. What does he bring into this team?
Well, he's going to bring. With what I saw, he played with Barcelona last season. I feel they also feel it's somebody that there are some. I feel there are some little glimpses or little things that they lack. They are lacking as a Chelsea team, and they've come to realize that I think this is the guy who can just get the job done for us. And signing him perhaps might not be 100%, but I can guarantee maybe a 60 or 50 performance from João Felix.
I think I beg to differ here. What Chelsea actually needs is a dead finisher. João Felix is not in that particular category. Fine, he's smart, he's quick, ball sense, 100%, but Chelsea needs a finisher. A finisher.
So what you think he starts on the bench? Where does he fit in?
Start on the bench?
Where does this play from?
João Felix?
Yes.
First 11?
First 11.
First 11.
Yeah.
Who is he benching?
That's the big question.
That's a tough one.
I don't think he starts from the goal, right? I do think that he's got that sort of quality, sort of player who can come off the bench, make
sudden impact.
Because his last 2 teams, he's never played Barcelona and Chelsea.
That was what I was going to say. He wasn't.
While I agree that he's very quick, right? He's fleet-footed, he's very intelligent on and off the ball. His off-the-ball movements are also very good. His best position is like an 8 or a 10.
No, a 10.
Behind the striker.
An 8, yes.
So it depends on which formation, because now an 8, if you're thinking about Arsenal, an 8 is the person, Declan Rice. That's the 8th position. 10 is Odegaard's role. It's a little closer to the striker, right? Based on formation. So 8 or 10, depending on how the coach is using him. I think it's that kind of person that plays in that midfield. Fernandes role. But I don't think that role suits him because for me, the best person to play in that role will be Cole Palmer or Nkuku.
Nkuku.
Because Nkuku is strong on and off the ball. Nkuku has got that burst of speed.
But he has this long delay. He runs with the ball for a very long time.
He's not played football for 1 year. If Chelsea, and that's my only issue with Chelsea. You've got João Felix, you've got Christopher Nkuku, you've got Romeo Lavia. These guys haven't played a lot of football over the time, so.
But I think I'll prefer João Felix.
All right. So the jury is still out for it, and all three of us cannot agree on if it's a thumbs up or if it's somewhere in between. So we'll just leave it right
Where
there.
it is.
I'm talking about Ike Gundogan, signs for Manchester City, return. Barcelona seem to be losing quite a lot of players. What's your take on this one?
Well, he's coming back home.
Somebody else answer this one. No side.
He's coming back home. I actually love what Pep Guardiola did. He was an integral player of the Man City dynasty, and he had done so much. I think his synergy with Pep Guardiola is something nobody can take away, and he's not comfortable where he went to. So it's better to go back home where I'm coming from and get settled.
And Man City is the home.
Yeah, funny thing, I saw his last game for City. That was the FA Cup final between Manchester City and Manchester United. And I think he doesn't get the sort of credit he deserves.
In Barcelona?
No,
in Man
City. In football,
I think that's the reason why he left for Barcelona, because he wasn't, getting that credit.
Everyone easily gives the Ederson, Ruben Diaz, the Haaland, or the Kevin De Bruyne. Even Foden, they give them a lot of credit, but the sort of job he does in that
dirty job.
He does all the job, and then he still has that ability to pop into midfield. Now I'm saying this because off the ball, his movement is very good. His composure in front of goal. He's someone who knows how to use the ball. I just recently retired as captain of the German
team. That's what I was going to. When you see him play for the German team, is a different ball game entirely. You see this absolute control of, Atome's comparison of Sunday Olise. That's general movement where you hold the ball and you know what to do in the front of the 18-yard box. Exactly. For me, coming back home is just the best thing he has done, the best decision, because I foresee a situation whereby with time he'll begin to sit on the bench, so it's better he moves.
Oh, I don't think he's going to sit on the bench. He's going to be covered for Rodri, right?
Okay, yes.
I think they're also out for a striker to replace Haaland whenever he's out injured or needs extra minute, and they're not looking for a first team player because they don't want someone that's complaining for first team football.
Yeah.
But one footballer who's looking for first team football and also hoping to crack at the top, Francisca, is Ademola Lookman. He's been linked to PSG. Now, in the last game against Atalanta, against Lecce, did not feature at all in the matchday squad. And everyone has been pointing fingers that that's because he wants to move.
Well, Ademola Lookman, you see, when I get to look at his style of play and how he positions himself, and I'm like, do you think you can really fit into the PSG's team?
I do think
you think so?
Yeah,
I for me, because PSG is more like also like what's it called, Man City. They don't put in all of those energy and everything in terms of playing football. They play more like the freestyle football and everything. And Ademola Lookman, you and I know that he's not really that kind of person. Sometimes it's one thing for us we want to move, players want to move from one club to another, but then again, it's all about you maintaining that your status where you are coming from. For me, I if you ask me, if I want to advise Ademola Lookman, I will ask him to remain in Atalanta rather than going to PSG.
Share those sentiments?
No, I disagree.
It's your opinion.
Yes. Keep reminding me it's my opinion. It's my opinion.
It shocked me.
For me, every player wants to get to the pinnacle of his career. And moving to PSG will also expose him to a new culture.
Champions League football?
Exactly, that's what I was going to.
But have they won Champions League before?
They played in the final of the Champions League.
But they haven't won.
Atalanta is one of the best thing Atalanta can win. Europa. You cannot win anything more than Europa.
So, for a team who has won Europa and a team that hasn't won Champions League, which one would you prefer? You just talked about the fact that
I prefer to go for Champions League.
I want Champions League.
But of course, you and I know that it's difficult for PSG to win the Champions League.
Well, look,
We've seen them come up with a whole lot of players. Neymar was there. Messi was there. They never won the Champions League. So what are we talking about?
There's one thing that's guaranteed.
Even Mbappe, why did he leave PSG for Real Madrid? Because he also wants to win the Champions League. And PSG is not looking like they want to win the Champions League.
He will never win the Serie A with Atalanta. He will win the league, that's number one. Let's push that one side.
He will win the Champions League.
You said the Champions League, number one. PSG played the final. Mbappe failed to win the final, not because he didn't get the opportunity, but because he failed when the occasion arose. He was in
At
the
that
final.
big stage, yeah.
He was in the final and he failed. Neymar wasn't there. So Neymar can be excused because he was injured. But Mbappe was there. And he failed to win it. So I'm saying that if they got that opportunity, and there's this theory, check it, recently. I think since the 2000s, if you make your first Champions League final, you lose it. But your subsequent Champions League final, you win it.
You win it.
Man City, for example, they lost to Chelsea.
Liverpool,
right?
same thing.
Chelsea lost 2008 and then won 2013. Right? So usually when you miss, unfortunately for Arsenal, they've been in just one. So
You
whenever
didn't mention
Arsenal...
Liverpool.
Must you go down
Liverpool
that
Liverpool have
rail?
won it before. I'm
Must
saying
you go
that
down that
when
rail?
you play your first one.
Okay.
From, I think, 2003. If you check it since
Yeah.
2002, 2003.
Okay.
Valencia played the final in 2002. Right? They haven't played the second one since then.
Yeah.
Right? They played back-to-back finals, lost it. But immediately after, check every team who's playing their first Champions League
Yes,
final.
the second
They've
one.
The
lost
is
it.
good.
second
Yes.
one, the
Right?
win.
Atletico Madrid is the only other example.
Yeah, that hasn't won.
That hasn't won
the
it. They
Champions
consistently
League.
lost. So
yes.
the second time is always the charm. And that's why I think that if PSG gets there, it's
No,
second
I
time.
think Ademola Lookman going to PSG will better his fortune.
I do think so.
I don't
The
think so.
popularity.
I don't think so because even how, in terms of the blacks, it's always difficult,
do you mean by
especially
the
when
blacks?
it
This sentimental here.
What do you mean by
no,
black? What do you mean by black?
especially when it comes to Africa, it is difficult for you to see this player, like see these African players. You know,
Ashraf
I don't know
Hakimi plays
how
in that team. Right?
how
He's African, right?
Yes.
Is that-
Hakimi,
Yes.
right?
where is he from?
Morocco.
Africa. It's from Africa.
It's Africa. Africa.
I don't know to be sure that we're all on the same page.
But for me, I just feel that.
Kipembe played for Congo. Do you know he played for Congo?
I never knew that.
I'm just telling you now, so that's also another African. Do you want me to mention the
I
team?
just feel that she's not this sentimental.
But I just feel
You know
that
what? Let's just leave
I
it.
feel
Let's
that
leave it.
it is not a good move
So it's
for him.
two against one.
Yeah.
We both think it's a good move. You think it's not a good
It's
move.
not a good move. So let's
we'll leave
wait
it at
and
that.
see what happens.
Let's go to the Osimhen conversation because we're going to the Serie A and we cannot dribble past the story. Now, from the stories coming through, Chelsea yesterday started conversation with PSG about the deal for Lukaku, which will automatically now open the way for Napoli to offer Osimhen. Osimhen has gone AWOL. Well, he's still in team, but he's not part of the setup. And the manager already expressed his opinions about this whole thing. You think that move finally materialized before the end of the month?
It will be good for him because for Conte to have openly said he's not part of his plan simply means that Osimhen have to leave, and that is a categorical statement. For me, I think it's very unfortunate with the pedigree Osimhen has already established within this short period of time to be going through this terrain of pain is unfortunate. But I honestly want to see him leave to a good club where he can play regular football.
Do you think that some of the shenanigans of Osimhen recently, and putting the conglomerates of everything that have happened, sort of has affected his move? Because currently we know Chelsea is signing everybody at quick rates. Chelsea didn't pounce when the opportunity presented itself. Do you think some of his...
Can you
I don't
cite
want to
an
use-
example?
I don't want to use outbursts, but I want to use more of some of his baggage. And the example is with Napoli. There's a period when Napoli tweeted the coconut head situation and it deleted all the pictures. Are European clubs looking at this and saying, while this player has the qualities we want, the baggage it comes with is just too much? Like a Balotelli kind of baggage.
He's short-fused.
You agree? Yeah. I can't say, are you thinking? I don't want to say.
Osimhen is short-fused.
I really do not want to, because in as much as I really love Osimhen,
It's
but
obvious. We all love him. So don't make it sound like you're
just like you said, the recent stories, outbursts, baggages, and all of that, I think it's a contributing factor for all of those things. That's my own opinion, especially with the
What's this
recent
opinion
one.
thing you just formed today?
Especially with
think
the
I'm
recent
interested.
one with the Super Eagles, the Finidi, whatever, and put together, he had issues too with his club Napoli. And I also remembered that, talking about Napoli, remember last season he wasn't that 100%. Like, I feel that also is a contributing factor, and that's the reason why the coach has said, you know what, with all of those things that you have, the shenanigans, the outbursts, the everything, I think you're not just part of my plan. So what this means is that he needs, at this point, he just needs a manager who who's going to manage everything that has to do with his career,
his ego, his
entirely. That's
personality,
what just he needs at the moment, and let's see how we can move from there.
All right, so before we leave this part of the show, I'm just going to make a quick mention that the Cincinnati Masters came to a close at the week, and then we saw some big winners. Now, not only were there winners on the courts, that's the Cincinnati ATP and WTA 1000 event. Yannick Sinner won the men's event. Arya Sabalenka won the women's event. Now, also on the ATP and the WTA rankings, both of them, well, sort of grew a little more. Yannick Sinner, world number 1, validated his position ahead of Carlos Alcaraz, who is the number 2. We know Arya Sabalenka closed in on the gap. She's pushed off Coco Gauff from number 2. She's currently number 2. Just behind Iga Swiatek. So there's a lot looking forward to Flushing Meadows, the final Grand Slam, which comes up later on this month. Yeah, that's the US Open. We'll be counting now. There's no Rafael Nadal. The tricky part is he says he's not sure when he's retiring, but we do know all the other superstars, Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, Novak Djokovic will all be there. We'll take you through all the details right here in Sports in 60 Minutes. At this point, we go for a break. When we come back, we'll look through all the leagues lined out for this weekend as games continue, as those major leagues have started. All right, welcome back. This is still Sports in 60 Minutes right here on iRival Studios. Femi, Princewill, and Francisca. At this point, we're going into something very important ahead of next month. The National Youth Games comes alive, and there's so much conversation about how to get Nigeria's next superstars ready in terms of the international athletes they will become. We've got someone who's got a lot of information about this, talking about a member of the local organizing committee for the Youth Games, which begins next month in Delta Asaba. He's also in charge of the media and publicity, the subcommittee. We're talking about no other than Harrison Ocholor. Hello, Harrison. It's good to have you today on the show with us. Can you hear us, Harrison? Okay, so as we try to get Harrison to connect with us in terms of, connection obviously can always be a big problem for everyone. Let's talk about the preparations, guys. So much to speak about after Princewill. Let's start with you. So much to speak about after the Olympic Games. We must be wondering how to start it all over again, because this is the sort of event where everything gets back on track for Team Nigeria.
It has always been a big problem. When we go out for international competition of this magnitude, we come back and we tell ourselves, let's get back to the drawing board and let's start all over again. But the big question I want to ask is that there was a youth championship held in Ilorin. What happened to the few ones that was discovered? Were they actually nurtured? Were they given the support to go for foreign training? No. We are at it again. As about 2024 is on the ground. When we pick them up, what's our plan in the next 4 years?
Francisca, what would be ideal for you? Because, you know, when Princewill puts it this way, it sounds like we just do the same thing over and over again.
Obviously.
But it obviously takes a process to get some of the biggest athletes to the big stage. But what would be the most ideal situation? Knowing that we know what the problems happen at the Olympics, right? How do we correct things moving forward?
Policy, program, projects.
Explain that to us.
Policy, how heavy is sport policy in the country, Nigeria, as a whole? Program, how often do we have programs for these athletes? Because just like he mentioned, it's a case of we do this over and over again, but we don't stick to a whole lot of things. Then projects, what are those projects that we have attached to sports development in Nigeria? So if we don't get these things right, we'll keep going round the circle and not getting any results.
Let me come in here again. Our problem is we want to get results that you're supposed to prepare for 10 years in 10 minutes. And want to get that result in 10 minutes without considering the number of years you put in.
That's only a quickie can get you that. Nothing else can come through.
Only
a quickie.
Yeah, nothing else.
That's
because if you're going to plan for something for a decade and you're using one event, that's what a quickie comes with.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, this is a sports show.
Obviously.
And that's the reference we made.
Please, let's
all right, let's talk about athletes. Francisca, you need to keep your mind in the game. Like, come on, the game has started. There are 5,000 athletes expected for this game. What are the possible challenges that they would face, and how can we tackle those? Because a lot of them are young athletes.
What?
The challenges they face. How do we tackle the challenges these young athletes will face?
Well,
5,000 of them, by the way.
Well, I really don't know. Honestly speaking, I really do not know the level of preparation that has been put in place. You and I know that this thing happens and it just comes to us like, you know, this is what it is. This is it. National Sport Festival. This is it. But
National Youth Sport Festival.
Sorry, National Youth Sport Festival.
National Youth Games.
Oh, National Youth Game. What?
The NYG.
whatever. But you and I know that it's a sport festival. It's also a sporting activity. So for me, I feel it's not enough to get these young athletes. It's all about also nurturing these young athletes as well. And Princewill just mentioned that what are those things that we do like before the main event itself? We don't do anything. And you get this young talents, and at the end of the day, you are not good enough. You don't even provide them what it entails to nurture their skills or whatever they've got. But I just hope this will be the time that we are going to correct it, and I hope that better things will be done to them. But sometimes I usually feel for them because we get them, and at the end of everything, we abandon them. Look, there's no follow-up.
I'm always amazed when you guys bring your idea of doomsday about Team Nigeria's effort. Now, I agree with you that it takes a lot of money. I'm not trying to be critical of what both of you said. The history for what you said, I always say the glass is half full. I think getting an athlete to the highest level, getting an Olympic athlete, getting a world champion, takes a lot of investment. And even back in the day when everyone says, oh, things were great and rosy for Team Nigeria, how many world champions did we have? The last champion who was in that mode was maybe Blessing Okagbare. And it took a lot of investment from the Delta State government, right? I do think it's a process. And I do believe that, number one, not only does the administrators need to put things in place, two, the resources must be there. We know that Nigeria does not have the resources. But most importantly, three, Princewill, Francisca, if I'm going to invest in you, I need to see returns in future.
Absolutely, but have you invested?
Oh, no, I have, because we talk about the Olympic Games.
Okay.
A lot of Nigerian athletes knew in their mind they were not going to give 100%.
How?
Because those
what did you give to them?
So I started by explaining.
What did you give to them in terms of preparation?
So I started by explaining that the lady who won the 100 meters, the lady from the athlete from St. Lucia, right? She had to move to the USA to better prepare, get herself ready. A lot of Nigerian athletes
was she not funded?
Not necessarily.
Allow him
not
to
necessarily. I'm saying that a lot of the Nigerian athletes are in the US on scholarship, right? The likes of Samuel Ogazi, Favor Ofili. We can mention names. It's a Brume. There are many of them. And I asked, with the exception of Brume, which I have moved her out.
Exactly.
Because she has medaled, right,
she has
at that level.
And she has a coach who also is taking full responsibility.
How much? Because Ophelia spent a lot of time speaking about what she wasn't put in for. But the little you were prepared for, did you deliver? The answer is no. So at what point do we now stop saying that you as the child, because Princewill, I sit here and I ask you the question, you have a child, do you give your child everything she wants? No. But do you still expect your child to deliver? The answer is yes, right? All you will say is okay.
That's been unfair.
No, that's not been unfair.
That's been unfair.
I'm just switching the table around.
That's been unfair because you have
because
that's been unfair
I'm
because
sure.
you have to. If you want me to deliver, you have to give me what I need,
Francisca,
to deliver.
I asked you a question. Did your father?
It is only here in Nigeria that will say, "Oh, did your father
Francisca,
give you everything?"
It's a question. No, it's a question.
If he has the opportunity to do that, he will give
different circumstances.
If he does, because it is his wish to give everything.
Let me come in here.
Circumstances perhaps played in.
Let me come in here. Femi has just stated this scenario, right? A very fantastic scenario. I don't want to make comparison with the US, but let's make comparison with South Africa. The preparatory stage of the South Africans can be seen with every given facet that you want to grow, yes, we'll give you all the support you need. Here, you want to grow, who gives you the support?
Nobody.
The sports federation are there, no support. People that are supposed to invest, no encouragement.
If I may ask Princewill, if you mention this, South Africa flopped at the Olympics, the last Olympics.
But they got
medals.
Did you medal?
They got medals.
No, did you? Don't even go there. Don't
medals.
Compare.
Francisca, wait.
Did you medal?
Francisca, wait. No, Nigeria did not medal.
But they did.
No, let me continue. In 2020, the medal South Africa won. And whether they won in 2024, is it the same medals?
No, it's not the same medal. That's
they
why
won less.
I mentioned circumstances.
South Africa is always number one, right?
Yes, I mentioned circumstances.
Kenya was number one. So my question here is this: that I just put a scenario that I agree with you, and the minister has also said he takes full responsibility that we failed, but failure here is from top to bottom. However, we've just said failure states at
The minister
top.
knew we were going to fail.
No, the minister did not know.
He did.
From personal information, because I spoke to the minister.
The technocrats around him.
The technocrats around him
Yes.
guaranteed the minister.
Why would you guarantee the minister success when you know that?
Because the minister is not
failure.
a sports person.
Yes, he said so from the beginning.
Why did he?
He said so from the beginning.
As the president.
He said so from the beginning.
President.
Yes.
The president of the AFN.
That's the number one
The president of the AFN. President from the NBBF. President from badminton. And the only person, because I spoke to the Wrestling Federation president, he says he sat down in the room where they were speaking with the minister, and everybody kept saying, we can medal here.
And you know it's not possible.
And he, who even had the brightest opportunity of meddling, was like, I don't think we can medal. However, he said he didn't want to say it because, number one, he believed if he said it and those words came out to the athletes, they will feel, oh, if our president writes us off, automatically everybody else writes us
He's
off.
been diplomatic.
That's the problem.
He's been diplomatic.
He says that, number one, not only do we have to prepare these athletes, number two, the athletes themselves, what's their state of mind going into the games?
Didn't I say last week that the motivational level of these athletes was very low?
And that also brings the question, Princewill, that as a human being, and maybe because I was putting out to your father, to your daughter, so let me turn it to myself. My father obviously didn't give me everything I want. Not because
he doesn't have. Get it right.
No, even if he did have it, because even as a father, even if I do have it, I won't give my son everything he wants. Not because I cannot afford it.
It's because you've grown in that. You've grown with that sense of
Harrison Ocholor now with us. Remember, I'm a member of the local organizing committee of the National Youth Games. Harrison, it's good to have you on the show today. How are you today?
I'm very fine. A very good afternoon to you and viewers back home.
All right, so we've had quite a lot to talk about, but I just want to get your knowledge about the preparations for the National Youth Games. What's the things like? What's the state of things in Delta at the moment?
Yes, I got it done because of the network issue, because I think around this year. But again, Delta State signed an MOU with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to host the National Youth Games for the next 4 years. So this is the second edition. We started the first one last year. I mean, when I mean the first edition for us, in terms of hosting. We did last year quite well the hosting when we had the new governor, who's still governor today, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Ogorori. We have running already. We had a joint technical meeting with officials of the Federal Ministry of Sports just a couple of days back, and it was meant to dot the I's and cross the T's in terms of preparation, accommodation, competition facilities, and all the likes. All the states were present in the JTM meeting, in the JTM. So we are good to go. We've done it before, and like we told the Federal Ministry of Sports officials, led by the Permanent Secretary, we told them that we are indeed ready to host. His Excellency places high premium on youth sports development from the grassroots level. So we've got nothing to worry about. We are going across the country.
Well, just a bit of network challenges there, gremlins. We'll get to resolve that. But, you know, listening to him sounds very confident about preparations, what's on ground. And so
basically,
once again,
arrival
he is a member of the local organization. It is going to be a smooth event.
Yes, when you asked Francisca what was the preparatory mode earlier on, I wanted her to finish. Considering the fact that that MOU was signed, it was...
All right, we got him back.
Okay.
Yes. So, Harrison, just going to ask you a few more. 5,000 athletes coming in for these games. There's a lot of talk. I've heard states in the north talking about how prepared they are to discover the next best thing. How excited are you about the athletes coming for these games? But I guess, once again, Gremlins...
network challenge.
We'll try to get him. I was just going to put it up forward to you that... And this is my thoughts. This is my personal thoughts. I think that we always say this. Nigeria is a third world country, right? Let's start by establishing it, because we quickly compare Nigeria to US or South Africa when it suits us. But then when we know the challenges we get, we go back. I'm saying every athlete knows the challenges Nigeria faces, right? And we also know that Nigeria would obviously not give you A-level preparations, maybe not even B-level, right? What you can get from Nigeria, which is why I said you don't give your child everything your child wants. You give your child what you think your child needs. Now, the needs here is the opportunity to go for scholarships abroad, which a lot of Nigerian athletics, track and field are, because even the MOC, Making of Champions, see a lot of Nigerian athletes, and they preview our performance every year going to major competitions. My only worry here is the blame should be top to bottom. Majority goes to the administrators, talking about the NOC, the AFN, the federation bosses, the sports ministry. But I think the athletes also need to take an iota of the blame, because, Prince, when I put this to you, as a man, you know you are not 100%. Why lie about it? Because you qualify doesn't mean you must go.
True.
If you go there and you now fumble, and you now say, oh, you're pointing fingers, but you knew you're not 100 left.
Is that not why you're supposed to have an assessment team?
No, we do. And that's what Team Nigeria does. Unfortunately, people hide injuries. Because somebody has qualified. So I'm sorry for using this example. Let's say Nwobodo. Let me pick the safest example. Anu is not training an injury, but he knows this is his one opportunity to go to the Olympics. Maybe only opportunity. Right? He smuggles himself there. Goes there, loses.
At whose detriment?
It's at Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. So I'm coming back to saying that the athletes share a portion of the blame, because fans, because fans are expecting you to deliver.
We saw a typical...
Aaron Ocholor is a good example. Aaron Ocholor pulled out from the Lagos Open. Aaron Ocholor was well prepared. He's traveled abroad. He's played international events. What's his first game? What was the excuse?
Blessing Nwobodo was a good example. He fought that.
But Blessing even got to a semi-final. So I make excuse for Blessing Nwobodo, because you got to a semi-final. You finished in a semi-final spot.
Now,
See,
Francisca said something: policies, projects,
and program.
What are the programs in place? Most times we go on tour, few weeks to events, which is quite absurd. You don't prepare these athletes on time.
I agree.
And you want result.
I agree.
Which is quite...
But for local athletes, when you when you mention all this for local athletes, I agree with you.
You agree?
Because local athletes, number one, don't get enough competition. They don't get enough exposure. They're not properly paid or remunerated. But the foreign athletes, the same excuse cannot be made for them, because all this things the local athletes don't have, you have it. Now, while the sports ministry gives you money too close to the event, $5,000, right, which is still small money, I am saying that, Princewill, if you are not ready, you know you are not ready. I don't need to tell you you're not ready.
See, let me tell you something. Sorry,
Princewill,
before you come in. See, you cannot justify what you've just said, because the people in charge have not given their A game. See, Femi, with all honesty, even if you don't, the grade is A, is 70, A. With all honesty, if you give me 70 and I come back to you to say, oh, I didn't deliver, I think that deserves whatever you are putting at me. But you've not given me 70. Perhaps you give me 40, 30. How do you want me to deliver?
So then don't go.
So there is no justification. Because they themselves, they've not done their part. Like, they've not done it to the minimum, or the barest minimum.
Francisca, that again now brings me to what I said. You know, as a professional athlete, you are not ready. You're not well prepared, because remember, all these US athletes are training with the US athletes that are going to run.
They will always take advantage of the fact that you yourself, you have not given.
So what makes you a better person? Because remember,
because we lack it as well.
Because
from top,
again, because
we lack it too.
Where I'm coming from is, I've agreed with you, the administrators are wrong. I'm saying that as a fan, watching Toby and Musa run, watching Aaron Ocholor perform, I'm expecting you to carry Nigeria's flag high. And if you don't perform it well, and you tell me it's the administrators only, but I'm saying that administrators, you know you're not ready. Why didn't you back off?
Absolutely, you're 100% correct. Now, you've just mentioned Toby Amusan. Toby Amusan got to the finals of the 100-meter hurdles. The semi-finals. Now, she was the high hope of a lot of fans, and she faltered. What could have been the problem? Is it a psychological
issue?
Do you have one? Just yesterday, it was made known that the Team Nigeria didn't have a psychologist in that team.
Oh, there.
Yes. Authoritatively, I'm telling you, there was no psychologist. Who do you blame for this?
I blame the sports ministry.
So what I was saying,
The psychologist
you
never talk to
cannot
you one-on-one.
I blame the
justify
sports ministry because
the athlete's poor performance
I blame
because you've not given at least
Francisca,
a level.
I blame the sports ministry because naturally all the federations
Should have
psychologists.
So I was not talking about just anyhow people because number one, Daniel Igali has participated for Canada.
Yes.
He won medals for Canada.
Yes.
Gold medal, not just any shade of medal.
Yes.
Gold. So are you saying that when he was in the Canadian team, he did not know in his own brain that he had psychologists? Because this same Daniel Igali spoke about preparation. He spoke about the camping. Remember, the sports ministry took them to conditioning in Saarbrücken, Germany.
Yes.
So I'm saying that all the while, I heard him complain about a lot of things. Never mentioned psychology.
That's a big secret. Now, do you even know that the Super Eagles doesn't have a psychologist?
Well, officially, the Super Eagles is going through a renovation. So until we get to the end,
let's not even. But I just want to point out something. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the fact that these athletes, they know and everything. It boils down to integrity. Just like I was having conversation with on a show, and they talked about
other shows outside of here.
Hold on.
So much money outside of this point.
She's a big girl.
Wonderful.
She's a big girl.
So we had this topic. I don't know if you saw the online video trending where he said, I played injury and everything. And I said to them, it's because we lack integrity in the country. And you will not blame anybody because even from the top, there is no integrity. And that's why people will... Some government officials, they know that they are not delivering,
he played it for his own selfish goal.
Even I, for one,
injured
at our own expense.
So that's what I'm saying. We lack integrity.
And besides, why are you complaining 6 months after? We're expecting you to win the final, not complain 6 months after.
It is the same thing I'm saying, that it is integrity thing. Just like the Opheli's situation, I, for one, I would have expected the person in charge to even say, you know what, I goofed. Let me resign. But you won't do that.
But the minister says they will look into it. Francisca, calm down.
That has always been our motto.
So calm down. We need to go for a break.
In all of this, so the athletes too want to do the same thing that they see the top people doing.
So you don't have your right. So you don't have your right.
They will follow suits.
Prince, you don't have your right to complain.
When the top is bad, yes, we're not being sincere. When the top is bad, it spreads.
But how does? Who gets to the top? Is it not the people at the bottom?
Those same people at the bottom that get to the top stand already somewhere.
No, I'm saying that. So it's a system. So it's a fish eat fish world. If I'm going to sit down here, because number one, who suffers is the fans, taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Now you agree it's taxpayers' money.
I'm saying taxpayers' money because I am a fan. I'm not an athlete.
Now you agree it's taxpayers' money.
If you're using my money and you know you're not ready, then step down.
But I was saying it the last time. I said, it's not taxpayers' money. Not until when they came out to say 12 billion naira.
We need to go for a break. This guy just called me. That's the reason why she goes to many shows and does great things. But hopefully we'll try to get Harrison Ocholor back. If we don't, then we'll just build up to the start of the National Youth Games. Okay, so, this is the last part of the show. There are quite a lot of things going through our minds in terms of games for this weekend. I'm sure Princewill has got a game or two. Francisca has got a game or two on the mind. But I'll leave that one to their private thoughts. What we'll discuss right here is the games from the Premier League. A couple of Nigerians will be in action this weekend, by the way, Princewill. It's Fulham against Leicester City. We've got Wilfred Ndidi.
In Leicester.
Leicester City.
Was it Calvin Bassey?
And it will be in Fulham.
It will be. What's your take on this game? Think it's going to be exciting?
Whenever I see Nigerians come out to actually showcase what they have to give in terms of skill, it excites me. I would prefer to watch a Fulham Leicester City game than an Arsenal Aston Villa game.
Why? Francisca, why do you think so?
There's no Nigerian playing in.
Does it matter?
That's what he said.
I'm an Arsenal fan.
He's an Arsenal fan, but each time Nigerians play
Arsenal
each
need
other,
to sell him now.
He's a supporter. There's a difference between supporter and a fan.
Francisca, I pay my dues every year.
If you pay your due, you won't be saying be saying this.
Allegiance comes first. I'm a Nigerian, and my brothers are actually out there.
Taxes here, right? All right, Aston Villa against Arsenal. That's an exciting game. Earlier on already, the Premier League has arranged some big fixtures. Last week was Chelsea, Man City. This week, Aston Villa against Arsenal.
And these two teams actually won their first game, so both of them will want to show the stuff they are made of with the first game. the way Arsenal is going, and remember last season it was this same Arsenal that cost Aston Villa that cost Arsenal the title for
2 teams, Wolves, Aston Villa.
and Aston Villa. So I think it's a game
We've taken our Wolves, don't worry.
a game that I want to come back and show you the stuff I'm made with, and Arsenal will make a statement with what I see them play the last game, the first game. I think they're going to win it, despite the fact that they're playing away from home.
So if I'm going to put both of you on the spot now in making predictions for both games, now not score predictions, in terms of win draw, I'm going to make it very easy.
I wanted to say both teams will definitely
I'm not that
score.
wicked. So what do you think? Win for Fulham, win for Leicester, win for Aston Villa, win for Arsenal?
Win for Leicester City.
One?
Yeah, win for Leicester City, win for Arsenal.
I told her line, win for Arsenal, win for Leicester City.
Yeah.
I'm going
Because
for
the
Fulham.
Fulham, and now the
Fulham and
Fulham
Aston Villa are
who
my
played
pick.
Manchester United in the first game.
That's the
I
first
wasn't
game.
comfortable
No, but
with
that's
that
the first
team.
game.
I wasn't comfortable with
Leicester
what
City,
Alex Nwobodo
with the way
was
they
giving.
came back to pick up that draw against Tottenham, they have something in store.
It was
Yeah.
what Jimmy Vardy drank.
What did he drink?
What did he drink?
It was one time EPL highest goal scorer.
It's not tea. He's 37 years old.
but he still has the energy. He still has the drive.
He does. Someone we're hoping will get the energy is Kelechi Iheanacho in the Serie A.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
La
you
Liga.
as well. What would be your own pick?
I already
Because
picked the other
also,
two. I already made the other two. Aston Villa and Fulham.
He went the other way around.
Yes, I'm always I'm always that brilliant.
It's okay. It's
that
okay.
brilliant.
I'll remind him next
okay.
week.
Sevilla will be in action against Villarreal. Now, this game is important because last time Iheanacho wasn't registered for the La Liga game. So this La Liga game comes back, his debut. You think he's going to get the juice, the sauce to turn things around for Sevilla?
The senior man, he has got the soup. The soup is still working.
Has he got the reeds?
Yes.
Has he got the steam?
The steeds, he's got the steeds. No, in terms of the steeds.
But for me, I think it's a fresh air, a new breeding ground for Kelechi to come out to do what he knows to do best. He's a team player, and he actually want to prove most of his critics wrong, that he still has what it takes to be at that top notch.
All right, let's talk about the Bundesliga resumes. The last weekend where we had was the FB Cup games. But the Bundesliga resumes. The Super Cup has been completed, by the way. Leverkusen beat Stuttgart. They qualified.
I know they were going to do that.
They are defending their title against Bayern Munich this season, or Stuttgart as the case may be. Because, you know, it's funny. Bayern came third. Stuttgart came second. So I'm going to put you on the spot. One, your prediction for the team to win the Bundesliga.
It's still very early, Femi.
Well, we're making the preview. We did the preview for the Premier League. I didn't hear you say early when we made the top four for the Premier League. I don't want to do the four. I said who will win.
Okay.
Just give me who's number one.
Bayern Munich will be number one.
You think Bayern would
Yes, they
dislodge
will. Yeah, they will.
Leverkusen? You agree
They
with that?
will.
Person?
Absolutely,
They
absolutely.
will.
Ahead of Leverkusen.
With my strong chest.
Leverkusen kept Florian Wirtz. They
What
kept,
happened in the Europa
what's his
Cup?
name?
What
Frimpong.
happened?
No, it was just burnout. One game.
You see,
One game.
Vincent Kompany, I did watch some training over the weekend, and what Vincent Kompany is bringing to bear in the Bayern Munich team is synergy. He's just right in there. What do you think? What do you think? Let's bring it together. Then we'll move forward. So I see Bayern actually coming top in the Bundesliga.
All right, Victor Boniface, possible ban, 1 game ban with a hefty fine, Francisca, for his celebration. I hear
Not in the Bundesliga, but
yeah.
in the what we call the FA Cup, the DFA Cup.
And it's still in the ambience of the German football and everything. So whatever you do, whichever competition you are playing, it cuts across.
it was in the Super Cup.
It was in the Super
happened.
Cup.
The season
Wasn't it?
opener, the Community Shield against Stuttgart.
Oh, yes.
That's when it did that celebration.
And that was very wrong.
Well, yes, it was.
But that's how it just
No, that was very wrong.
It was wrong.
I can
No,
use
it
the
was wrong.
center finger.
It was wrong.
Running around your opponents.
You know what I think? You know what I generally think?
Morally wrong.
I agree with Princewill, and I also think that this also comes on social media.
Yeah.
While it sounds like a joke, it's always a joke until it's on you. We need to understand there's culture and there are customs.
Customs,
On social
And
media, there are a few
rules.
times where he has made posts, as jokingly as it sounds, came off a bit tribalistic. So we need to always understand that footballers are role models. They're brands. You're not just speaking to yourself and your teammates in your
But
dressing.
let's what if it had been what's it called, Cristiano Ronaldo
It would have still collected it. Colorado did something that was less.
You think so?
Yes.
In the Saudi.
Or in Neymar.
No.
Or
In the
even
Saudi.
Mbappe.
So Ronaldo was fine
I'm
for
just asking.
Ronaldo was fine for grabbing his crotch.
Exactly. I was going there. He was
And his
fine.
crotch is not even the same thing as sticking the middle finger.
Yes.
Everyone knows what the middle
What if he
finger
had
is.
been Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe?
Any
He will
player,
get
so
a
long
fine
you've done
or it
something
doesn't
that is
matter who
morally
you are.
wrong.
That culturally, not just morally, culturally,
It's
it
wrong.
is wrong. Francisca, you need to learn
Because
etiquette.
I don't want to go where I want to go.
Francisca,
because
what I'm
I'm
going what I'm going to do is that
Let's
go
go.
and leave this show. I'm going to teach you etiquette.
Are you sure it's
Cultural
etiquette you want to take? I'm not following
Because
him.
I don't need- I don't
I ain't
need to
going
understand.
nowhere with him. We end
Gotta
the show.
learn.
We end the show. We end it here.
I can't blame you
Please,
now,
for the
because
record.
they are doing too many
For
shows.
the
now, Francisca.
for the record, on TV, on screen, on camera, we go nowhere.
No, don't worry. We'll go.
We are done with the show,
We'll go.
and that's
Where
it.
will you go when you leave the show?
My house,
Answer.
of course.
Your own branch. Your own branch in Bagada. Your own branch
Oh
in
my
Bagada.
God, Femi, please come on.
Do you plan to go to Bagada?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
It's weekend.
Do you plan to go to Bagada?
Yes or no?
Yes or no at some point?
And the location has changed.
Do you plan to go to
The
Bagada?
location has
Where is
changed.
the location?
We got to go.
Yeah,
She
no,
said
no,
the
no.
location has changed.
No longer.
So now it's not your
Bagada,
house.
please. I'm going to my house.
So it's not your house. Your house is the location. Alright.
You both can come if you want.
Is that an
No,
invitation?
that's too much.
No.
Three is a crowd.
Hold on. Is that
is a
an
crowd.
invitation?
Yes, it is.
3 is a crowd.
Well, think about it.
I'm alright with just being me. I want to say a big thank you as well to the guys for coming through. They brought their ideas,
It's a
and
pleasure.
trust me, it's been great. Even the break is crazy right here. We talk about things concerning sports and we prefer solutions. I want to say a big thanks to Princewill, Oviesan, and Francisca Nwobodo for coming in. You can also share your thoughts with us on our social media page. We'd love to hear from you. Sports in 60 Minutes is signing out. Remember, go out, do great things, but above all, everyone, be safe.